Hi, it's Candy. Welcome to our channel, Candy K Can 1. That's Candy with an I. Candy K Can 1. Okay, we're doing that for a special reason. So if y'all have been here for a while, you know, and if you haven't, we're just kind of switching focus on the name. So that's the reason that we emphasize the name like that. Okay, so today our video is going to be on how to rock your planner. So, okay, and I always try to get my timer started. There we go. Our video is going to be on how to rock your planner. And I hope it's kind of a timely one because, you know, I was thinking as I wrote my notes, which I always do, if there was one thing, if I could only do one video that I thought might be helpful to you on planning, how to do your planner, you know, how to kind of combine everything into one, I think it would probably be this video. So we'll see what you guys think after we get done. Okay, so how to rock your planner. So I think what I would want to know is, does everybody out there feel like you've got it all together? I mean, we never have it all together, do we? At least not me. Do you feel like you are good at planning your work? Do you feel like you know how to make a plan? Do you feel like you're successful with that? Do you feel like you have all the answers to that? Do you know all about that? So here's what I want. Whenever we get done, I want to still know what questions that you have about it. And I'm sure you'll have tons and tons of questions, but I still want to know specific questions. And therefore we could go into things in detail in different ways. And I also know that we're dealing with some shadows here, but we just have to deal with it now until I decide how I want to approach things differently. Okay, so bear with me for a little while. So again, if everybody knew nothing and I could show you one thing, I think it would be this, because it is usable in all forms of date books and all sorts of planner books. So here I've got I do have a scheduler in my Chic Sparrow, and you're going to see all of these. There is nothing planned out in my week for this coming week. You know why? I have not had time to do it, and we're going to talk about that. That's one of the main things we're going to talk about is how you put down what's important, and when do you even allow time to do that? I mean, that takes time, right? So where do we work time in to do that? So you can use it in a traveler's notebook as you are planning. You can use this formula, if you will. You can use it in, you know, I showed you my recollection planner. Nothing down for the first week here either, is there? I have done, now here's my Franklin planner, and I do have some things down today, and I do because I literally had to get it off a scratch piece of paper and put it down on here, and I did some prioritizing with it also, but I had to do that just because I was feeling all crazed again. I confess way too many things to you guys, but yeah, I do have some of it down in my Franklin planner, which was my go-to planner. And I still do love it dearly, but I do also understand that it is an expensive option and not everybody can do that. So we're going to focus more on different ones also this year. I love my Franklin. As a matter of fact, there's a new one out that I really, 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 really want. I'll have to say though, I'm just a little bitty teensy tiny little bitty kind of sort of disappointed in Franklin. I mean, I have really been telling you guys how much I love them, and I do. That came from the heart. That is not a sales pitch at all, but I feel like we've kind of gone under the radar and unnoticed by Franklin insofar as, I mean, we've really been a channel that has spread our love out there about Franklin, and I don't know that in any way we've been noticed by them at all. And again, I know that they're expensive, so I'm trying to do things for all expense ranges, okay? So this will work in absolutely everything. So we're going to set planners aside right now, and I'm going to ask you to follow me in a thought process, which I do a lot, okay? I would venture to say that you guys have seen this visual before. I don't know that you have seen or thought to put it to use as you work your planner, as you try to get a plan together, and make it one that will be successful for you. So here's what we're going to think about, okay? As we think about how you rock your planner, I know this is hard to see. It is a tall glass container, okay? So I want you to think as you are trying to put a plan together for the week, but this is also going to work. I know a lot of us work a month in advance. So as we're thinking out February and what we've got on the calendar and how in the world we're going to get a plan together for February, I want you to think of the things that you know that you have to do that are important for the month of February. And those are usually the kind of things that we know of in advance, the things that we know are important, okay? So those are for us those are the big rocks. Those are the important things in our life. Those are the things that we know have to be taken care of. Those are usually the big appointments, the things that we are committed to. So we're going to plug those into the month first, okay? Now, we're going to do this carefully because these are big rocks. But this is just like you would go through February and plug them down on your calendar. So those go in first because they have to go in your calendar. If there are doctor appointments for you, if they are dental appointments for the kids, if they are boards that you are on or the PTA that you are on, if there are meetings, planner meetings that you are going to, whatever, you have got those on your calendar and you put them down, you plug them down already because you're committed to them, right? Okay, let's pull this back over because I do think in February we've got several things, big things that I know about that are there already. If I sat down and did some coordinating between my phone, which is where I plug in some other doctor appointments, and here, I'm going to see that I have some other commitments. I just haven't had time to do that. That's simply it. That's one of the reasons I thought that this would be such a good video for right now, okay? So, when you rock your plan, you put those big rocks in first. Now, think about this too. You do it for the month, but also as you're thinking, how do I plan this week? And you know what? That's a question for a lot of people. How do I do it? How do I even start to plan the week? Well, that's what you do. You start with the big things that you know are important first, okay? So, I want to say this also. A big rock or a big commitment doesn't have to mean it's a big, huge thing to do. It doesn't have to be all time consuming to be a big thing. It just means that it's something that you have deemed important and you want to get done during the month, during the week, or even during the day. Now, I had lots of things I knew that I needed done before I taped this. They were not on today's date. I just got up. The lady that helps me with my house was here. I know what I do on that day whenever she's here. I didn't need it down on a calendar. I didn't have time to get it done. I worked without that being done. I'm not suggesting that. I just know that that's what I do this day, and I didn't need to spend time writing it down. Your big rocks don't have to be big events. Just please hear what I'm saying. They're just something big for you that takes priority over anything else that month, that day, that week, that morning, okay? So you plug in first the big things because those are the things that you want to give your attention to and that have to be there, okay? So then as we do go to the planner and prioritize, now I can't get into all this right now, but those are the things that on any sort of planner you do, you give them an A as far as priority, and that means they get your first attention during that day, that's what you head to first and get done, okay? So those are your big things to do. Now, the next thing you do is you plug in things that are kind of important, but not hugely important, that you want to get done, you want to get to them. But you know what? If you don't, that's kind of okay. But you still want to. Your hopes are that you will go on to your B things that day or to your medium rocks. But first, the big ones. Now, here's how this works. I mean, there's some space left in there. There's some time. I've really chosen a skinny vessel here, but I worked with what I had, okay? So now we're going to plug in the things that we want to get to. There's still some time left for them. We want to get to these, okay? I shouldn't have put all those big rocks in there, guys, okay? So, you see how, especially if I hadn't put that many, let's try to rearrange and take some of these out, because I did not do a run through first. Doesn't matter, I don't have all that many glass things in my house. I wouldn't have had a different. Okay, let's be more realistic for a day, okay? So there's our, or even a week. There are our big things, okay? Now, we're gonna put in our medium things. We still want to get to them. We still want to get to them, absolutely. But they don't have to be taken care of. So, those don't go in first. We don't head to trying to complete those things immediately. We leave them as a second option. We leave them as an option after we get our big things filled. And as we have time, and as we can move on to some other things, and as we get the big things taken care of, then we have time for these others to kind of trickle down and fill in. So on our planner, they get a B priority, and as we have time, we can take care of those. And as we take care of some of the bigger ones, then those others can kind of trickle down. And that's how you plan that day, and that's how you get that day's things worked out. And you know what? Maybe some of your big things, the schedule changed and that didn't happen, or the meeting was called off or whatever. So you mark those off, and then you have time to take care of things like this. So the schedule shifts a little, and we all know that happens, right? Or there was something, one of the kids got sick and you stayed home with them, and nothing that you had worked out that day. So you got to get on the phone and do some of these. So your entire plan changed. Please tell me that has happened to you, because that happens to me sometimes. Sometimes. Okay, so now your plan, now you have another way that you approach the plan, because things don't always stay the same, and your plan doesn't always work out like you thought it would or wanted it to, or all of that, right? So now your plan has changed a little bit. Okay, so now this is the way you approach the plan and what happens, and you know, you get to be a little flexible, because you just get to be a little flexible. Okay, now, so those were all B items. Now, you also have C items, and those are things that you just want to keep in front of you, because maybe you have some little things that you want to do. And let me also say, quite possibly, the C items would be things that we do that maybe we shouldn't do if we have a day where we really need to get some other things done. Because I'm going to propose to you that maybe the C items are things like checking your texts and checking your emails and getting on YouTube and watching some videos, because, you know, those are fun things to do, and they are things that can capture our time, and they are things that can certainly take up time. But most of the time, we don't have that on our to-do list or on our schedule, do we? We just can sometimes get on there, and it can suck up time that really needed to be used for our big things, because you put these little guys in first, and you know what's going to happen? What is going to happen is this. Before you know it, you're going to be midway through late morning, or possibly even at noon, and you haven't gotten any of these things done, and you still need to do those, and you still could really do some of these, and you haven't really gotten to because you've spent half the day right here on these things that, weren't on your schedule for sure and really weren't important. You just spent too much time on those. Whereas if you schedule your day correctly, you have gotten to the big things that are really important. You have gotten to some of the next things that were important, that were pretty important, and then if there's day left, or while you're sitting there picking up the kids, you get to check some of the stuff like this. But you do it as fill-in. So now you're rocking a plan because you are achieving what's important and what you want to do, and you're getting the things done that you wanted to do anyway. It's just that before, it's like you didn't really realize. I mean, you may have known your plan was wrong, but you didn't really realize what to do, or you didn't know why it was going wrong, and you certainly didn't know what to do about it because you didn't know why it was going wrong. Well, it was probably that you weren't quite rocking your plan because you didn't know exactly how to put it in place in the first place. So here you go. This is how you can rock a plan. So I'm just going to suggest to you that every single day for a week, probably, just think about that. Everything you pick up, is it on your list? Does it have to be done? And is it a big rock, a medium rock, or a tiny rock? And is it serving you? Now, yeah, this is beyond. This is extreme. Maybe your scheduling is. Maybe it's not, and it'll just be a fun exercise to do to see how you're spending your time. But this is a fun exercise. Look at the difference. And, how is your plan going? So, this has been our time with the YouTube video. So I just thought that might be a fun thing as we are almost going into a new month. We're starting a new week. I don't know when you'll watch this, but that's it, guys. We are out of the time that I like to spend, and I will just say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys way beyond what you will ever know. Thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you soon. Thanks. Bye.